Hey guys, Sean, Listed for Dummies, Salt Supply, Carcass. You saw the Grimburg short, shooting Jewel V2s. Probably got my best numbers that I've seen. To note of this Carcass, I'm running a different back cap, and obviously this valve has been drilled completely through. So I am going to move this spring over to my other marker and test it with just a standard, just the factory back cap. And that one in particular is drilled 2 millimeters, and I started to get the farts. I'm hoping this spring will help. And I'm just gonna shoot these, and then I'm gonna open this thing up and show you what's inside. Modifications at your own risk. Salt Supply S2. So we got, S2. Yeah. Kinetic. We got almost 26 joules of the Grimburg Jewel V2. So, see what we get with this. And it was pretty stable too. $850. Weird, huh? It's like those lighter balls just have maxed out. Because I got my highest number on the second shot, I'm gonna load a second kinetic here, Salt Supply Kinetic. And if you notice, I'm using this because these are not heavy enough to pass by the detent in this strip down mode. .356. So the second shot is better. But still, you'd think these things would be going like a lot faster. Because I don't even think that's probably like, I'm just guessing, 20, maybe 23 joules. So the Grimburg joules, the heavier balls, are actually carrying more energy, muzzle energy anyways. For kicks, this will be the third shot. I'm just gonna drop a riot ball in here. So this is a 9.9. I haven't tested the 9.9 with this bolt spring yet, so kind of unfair. It's the third shot, but curiosity killed the cat. 222. Yeah, we'll do one more, because I think that's going to be the end of this CO2 now. .218. It's still stable though. Okay, let's just keep going. Keep going till I'm out. .210. I think it was 6 shots. Got 4 blanks. Kind of where I want to be. Let's open this guy up. Before I show you guys what's inside, let it be known that I don't know the repercussions of doing what I've done, physically damaging the marker. Obviously this is in its earliest stages. You know, I have put a fair few rounds through this, so take it for what it's worth, but I don't recommend doing it. Just gonna quickly pull this guy apart, and hopefully it's gonna stay together, and you're gonna see why in a second. Help if I had the right Allen wrench. There we go. So if you wanna see the full disassembly of the S2, I do have another video of taking apart just a factory marker. So this isn't gonna be the how-to that some of you may have come to expect. Now, this is the tricky part. gonna try and keep it together. Oh, come on. Hopefully you get a good look at that, how it's sit right now. Because I'm hanging on tight. Ah, there we go. Whew. I'll tell you right now, this is a bear to put together. That, my friends, is a VKS spring. And why it looks different is because normally in the factory marker, you have this bolt guide / stop, which sits there, and the factory bolt spring sits inside. Well, this spring has a smaller diameter, so of course the VKS spring does not fit inside. So I've removed this stop, and as it turns out, the outer diameter of this spring perfectly interlocks with the clamshell here. I'll just kind of loosely put it together. See if you can get a good look down there. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Where's my flashlight at? It is not going anywhere. It meets up perfectly inside there. And the spring itself becomes the guide, much like an FSC, VKS, you know, kind of those first strike type markers. Now, if you saw the original spring I tested in here was the FSC. Well, I did a TIPX spring. That didn't work so good. Then I ran the FSC spring, which did okay, but it didn't leave me the shock count that I was looking for. So I've gone to the, whatever, I'm not gonna bother with that right now. I've gone to the VKS spring. I'm gonna move this spring into my 2mm drilled marker with a factory back cap, and then we're going to test it. I'm not gonna show that because you'll just see me cursing and swearing a lot trying to get this inside there. The FSC spring, on the other hand, was fairly simple to get inside. It obviously doesn't have as much tension as this guy does. And I will be testing some other springs as well. VKS spring is kind of, I don't know, it's become one of those, you don't really need it things. I have them, so I decided to try it because the compressed length of this spring is, I think off the top of my head, is like 15 or 16 millimeters. The FSC spring has a compressed length of 19. And this factory spring has a compressed length of 15. But the difference is the tension and the coil spacing. So let me swap this over to this guy, and then we'll just do a quick test fire and see how it behaves. All right, we got the VKS spring installed back in the S2. This CO2 restrictor is drilled to 2mm. Last time I tested this marker, I actually lost velocity at a 2mm drill, and efficiency, consistency pretty much was out the window. So see how she does. Joule V2, so I'm just gonna skip the salts because I had my best results using the heavier balls. Joules are larger than the Riot balls, so that's why I'm kind of sticking with those. There's 12 gram. Two 36. 226. 222. 206. 204. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 2mm hole is clearly not large enough to overcome the extra spring tension that I'm seeing with this VKS spring. Like I did with the carcass. As somebody mentioned in the comments, it's a fine line. So I'm not ready to completely ruin this valve and drill it wide open. That was my best results using the wide open and a VKS spring. But I'm the believer that I have to keep trying. I have so many different bolt springs here, guys. It just takes time to kind of go through them all. Ideally, I'd like to not be using one of the commercial ones, you know, like a FSC or a VKS, because I hate paying exorbitant costs for springs. Springs are cheap. Springs do what they do. I've found many springs that work just as well, or if not better, but I've also found springs that don't work worth a damn. So I really do have to go through this and fine tune it more. What I should do now with this VKS bolt spring in here is actually put the drilled and threaded back cap in here and see if I can, if the spring performs any differently with a larger volume of CO2. Something else I didn't mention, this FSC back cap that I'm running on this does not fit inside the marker. This cap protrudes too much, so that's out, guys. I even modified the case on my other one, and by modifying the case, I essentially lost this rear hole here, and that's no good. That's no good. I would never let that fly. So we'll keep trying.